0 federal bills have been passed to prevent America's global warming pollution.
The flow of ice glaciers in Greenland has doubled over the past decade.
The number of Category 4 and 5 hurricanes has almost doubled in the past 30 years.
Well, here's desire, throbbing in time with your breath. And as you perspire, don't think of me, think of this.
I have an edible landscape garden, and how I got started in that is I figured if I'm going to be mowing it and watering it, I want to eat it. I started out with herbs because they're really easy to grow, and you can use them in cooking, you can use them with crafts, that type of thing. But then little by little I expanded into fruit trees, and I specifically look for fruit trees that grow well in our area. So I don't have to worry about an awful lot of pesticides or sprays or that type of thing. Looking for trees and other shrubs and herbs and vegetables even that are disease resistant is really important to me. And carefree. If it isn't doing what it's supposed to do and I've given it water and I've pruned it, it's out of here. Another good way to conserve water is to use the water that falls on your roof by putting rain barrels next to where the water runoff is. And by collecting that water, you can use it to water your plants, and it saves money and it's just good for the environment. Another thing is compost bins. Compost bins, you put all your leaves and your kitchen scraps and trimmings from around the yard of things that you prune back. You put that in one big bin, and basically the worms and decomposition takes place, and then you get this great soil that you can put on it. It's all for free. You don't have to go down to the store and buy a bag of good soil. You can make it yourself. Edible landscaping that you do in your own yard helps prevent global warming because you're growing some of your own food. You're also adding more green to your yard, to your world, instead of just concrete or even the bark chips. You're adding more green with the trees and the herbs and the bushes. You're providing some of your own food. So instead of having to have trucks ship it in from somewhere else, or even airplanes fly it in from who knows where, you can just go outside, pick a fresh apple and eat it.
Well, I mean, it seems apparent, that the scientists agree it's something that's happening. And as far as our motivation for doing this, that certainly played a role, trying to minimize our contribution to global warming, and also just the idea of being efficient with our resources, that we have a finite amount of resources available to us on the planet, and using renewable resources. If we look under here, it's not exceptionally sunny out right now, so we're only generating 877 watts per day. So in the summer, like May, June, July, we're generating about 150% of what we need to use in the house, and that extra is being sold back to the to PGE, the utility company. Up, you can actually just see this arrow. It goes up to the solar collector here and comes back down. Right now it's coming back at 110 degrees. On a nice sunny day, it can come back at up to 160 degrees. This is a boiler that heats the house. So we have what's called radiant heat. Most houses will have forced air where there's a furnace that heats air and kind of blows it around the house. In our case, we heat water with this boiler. It's fired by natural gas, and the hot water goes through pipes that are in the floorboards so that the whole floor kind of warms up. Another piece of the puzzle of building sustainably are material choices. And so, for example, the carpet we have up here is a wool carpet rather than a nylon synthetic, which is a natural fiber. Right, and it's a little more durable too, so that helps in terms of not having to replace it so often.
More than 1 million species worldwide will be extinct by the year 2050.
Malaria has spread to higher altitudes in places like the Columbia Andes, 7,000 feet above sea level.
The Arctic Ocean will be ice-free by the summer of 2050.
Diesel in general is an oil, and what we call regular diesel is petroleum-based oil. Biodiesel is anything else, and biodiesel can be made from vegetable oil, which is most common. It can be made from waste restaurant oil. It can also be made from any animal fat. The original diesel engine was actually tested and run on peanut oil. I think that teens have the potential to make some of the biggest differences possible. Teenagers are at a point where they're just learning how to get around in this world, whether that's in Portland or Seattle or anywhere else. They can choose whether or not they want to become addicted to the automobile, or if they want to figure out how to use other means of transportation, public transportation, and especially bicycle. Can also serve to educate other teenagers as well as parents about the realities of global warming. Teens are at a great time in their life to really make lifestyle choices that they'll then continue for the rest of their life, and that's not just transportation, but also food and waste and how they deal with the world around them. I think a lot of power there.
I know someone who, when they didn't want their clothes anymore, they just throw them in the garbage. That fills landfills. Some clothes are not made of natural fabrics. So we are recycling useful things and creating fun in the process. So we have this big, wonderful community room, and about 25 or 30 of us get together every month, and we dump our clothes in the center, and we swap, and it's like Christmas every month, and everyone's really respectful, and we have fun. We try things on, we throw it back in the pile if it doesn't work. So it's just a really good time of everybody swapping and sharing clothes. And you look over on the other side of the room, someone's got your shirt on, you're like, oh cool, they've got my shirt.
Hey, I heard about this clothing swap from my roommate who loves to get free stuff. So I was going on Craigslist and like finding the best deals, and she told me and my other roommates about this, and so this is my second clothing swap.
What clothes did you get?
Okay, I got this skirt, which is really cute, and it's from a store called Anthropology, which I cannot afford anything from. And so that's why I snagged this, because otherwise, I mean, their clothes are like 50 plus. And then I just grabbed some shirts for work. It was a successful day at the swap.
What we do helps the environment in a huge way. I mean, think of how many clothes are manufactured every single day and how many stores are filled with clothes. We probably have enough clothes on the planet right now to sustain everybody for 10 years. We could stop the manufacture of clothes. That's my thought anyway. One of the missions of the swap is no money, and see if we can end money. So one of our members, she's fabulous, she takes them to her church and they donate them to the homeless. So they're going to go to someone that's going to give them away. We don't donate them to places that sell them. I hope we can pay attention soon enough that we can really stop some of the problems that are inevitably going to happen.
How does global warming affect teenagers? I think teenagers I'm gonna cry because that's just what I do. All my friends know that. I think that teenagers and children are inheriting a world and a culture and the way we do things, and it's messy, and they have a huge responsibility to take care of a lot of a mess that they didn't make. And I think that it's a heroic job and it's an important job, and it's kind of sad. But I do think that there are so many bright young people out there that are working really hard, and I see the kids coming through our school and our class, and I know they're going to make a difference. I don't know what that is, but I know that if we keep giving them the information, they are going to go on and try to do their best to take care of the planet.
Don't think of me, think of this. Straight from the get-go, you've been valuable to me. It's your element of worthiness, it's an air of purity. Your words are said with effort, but your actions disagree. Take a step back and examine. You should be anything but free. try the future? Can we just turn it off?